So Cenk, the reason why I get frustrated with you is because you're itching to engage in your rant so desperately that you don't even give me an opportunity to lay out all the facts before you engage in your rant, in which you undermine and minimize the evidence that I'm gonna show that shows that it's more than just the lack of citations 4 separate times.
Yeah, I'm not gonna engage in their hatchet jobs.
Look, listen.
No, that has no validity.
Okay, all right, fine, it has no.
In this video, co-hosts of the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur, get into the most heated argument I've ever witnessed between the two of them. Anna Kasparian is reporting a story that causes Cenk Uygur to respond emotionally. Cenk Uygur keeps interrupting Anna Kasparian during her reading of the story and then goes on a rant that devolves into a full-blown screaming match. With that, let's watch Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur's worst on-air fight ever.
Rules of bullying and harassment, yes or no?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric when it
and is it anti-Semitic rhetoric?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric when it crosses into conduct that amounts to bullying, harassment, intimidation, that is actionable conduct, and we do take action.
So Dr. Gay was trying to give a nuanced answer in a world where nuance is increasingly rejected. And so since she didn't clearly say that calling for the genocide of Jews is unacceptable and we will investigate it, she specifically wanted to focus on when that rhetoric crosses over into actual harassment. And look, I would have preferred for her to be a lot clearer. There was a lot of legalese used in the way that these university presidents answered that question, and it did not bode well for them. And that's what led to calls for their resignation. And I want to also be clear that there is no evidence of students chanting about genociding Jewish people. There have been chants featuring them saying things like "from the river to the sea," which is interpreted by some as calling for the destruction of Israel. But I don't think that most students who engage in that rhetoric think that they're calling for the destruction of Israel or the elimination of Israel. They think that they're fighting for the rights of Palestinians who are currently being crushed in the Gaza Strip. So that's the background. Before I get.
So we just showed you that clip to set up some background and context as to what the upcoming argument I referenced is about. So starting in the next clip, we're going to fast forward to where tensions really start to get high.
I'm going to explain why this is all garbage, a burning pile of total garbage. Go ahead.
Okay, so, but let me also say this, okay? It's clearly politically motivated, okay? The hatchet job is clear to me as well. But if there are specific, hold on, Cenk, listen to me for a second. If there are substantial examples of her engaging in plagiarism, it is a problem if she's the president of a university.
Yeah, I'll explain later. Just get through the BS first.
Okay, no, you go ahead, Cenk. Go ahead and
engage in your rant. It's garbage.
Engage in your rant. Go ahead.
So guys, here's what happens, okay? Once someone sticks their neck out and challenges the powerful, they then dig into their lives and they go, okay, we got to find some transgression so we can invent a scandal. And they'll get some hack like Rufo and some rando at a rando place like Washington Free Beacon and a Substack account, okay, whatever the hell that is, okay? And they'll say, okay, this is just serious charges. And they'll repeat words like plagiarism 100 times. And all the headlines will say plagiarism. And then when you look into it, what did Harvard conclude? 4 inadequate citations. Jaywalking is a significantly higher crime, okay? That when the best you got is 4 inadequate citations, basically you're saying we dug and dug and dug to try to bury her and find one thing wrong in her life, but we couldn't do it. So we got something where she left out quote marks, but put the citation in. We got a thing where she joined with another author. We got a thing where she quoted her own advisor. Sometimes in cases like this, because whenever they go after academics, their #1 hatchet job is plagiarism. Why plagiarism? Because it sounds so bad, right? And the average person doesn't understand plagiarism at all. And so they go, inadequate citations. And it makes it sound like, wow. It's nonsense, total. So sometimes on plagiarism charges, they'll say, when you look into the details, she quoted herself but didn't cite it. Oh, come on, guys, come on. So this is what I call needle in a haystack. So are they trying to represent the totality of her career, the haystack, or are they trying to find a needle in that haystack, pull it out and go, look at this needle, That's what she's about. That one time that she got a citation wrong. Fire her, fire her. And who's Bill Ackman? Bill Ackman is one of the worst people in the country. He's a hedge fund manager who bribes, campaigns.
Well, you saw Cenk interrupt Anna as she's just trying to do her job and get the facts of the story out. Not only is it unprofessional, but it's just rude as hell, especially to someone who's been your ride or die for years and years. So I don't know a ton about this Claudine Gay story, so I haven't had much of an opinion on it. But based on what I'm hearing in these clips, Cenk's mad about the fact that he thinks this whole thing is a hatchet job, and that finding what he considers to be, and probably a lot of other people consider to be, minor plagiarism claims against her, that it's really retribution for her not saying the exact right words for students engaging what people consider to be hateful speech or death threats to a certain group of people on campus. And if I'm just taking the story at face value and I believe what both Cenk and Anna are saying, I can understand Cenk's frustration if he believes that these are just completely bogus claims against her that need to be investigated. Again, if he's telling the truth, 4 incorrect citations and some of the details he gives about them don't really seem like an enormous scandal. Let's get back to the video.
Paying contributions to politicians, buys them off left and right, gives a ton of money to his alma mater, and when he heard this, he's like, "Well, no criticism of Israel ever. Fire her." I mean, I'm worried about an inadequate citation from 1987, so I'm really concerned about her academic situation. Guys, when they find something this minor, that means, oh my God, she was squeaky clean. Oh, she led an immaculate life. I challenge any of you to go through this kind of process and have them come up with only 4 inadequate citations. That means you're pretty much an angel. So this is nothing but a hatchet job. It has 0 validity.
So Cenk, the reason why I get frustrated with you is because you're itching to engage in your rant so desperately that you don't even give me an opportunity to lay out all the facts before you engage in your rant, in which you undermine and minimize the evidence that I'm gonna show that shows that it's more than just the lack of citations 4 separate times.
Yeah, I'm not gonna engage in their hatchet
but look,
jobs.
listen.
No, that has no validity.
Okay, all right, fine, it has no validity. If your take is, I don't care if she engaged in any plagiarism because this is politically motivated, then just say it. But my point is,
if you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
even though I believe it is politically motivated that they're going after her, if there are substantial examples of her engaging in plagiarism at a university where students get expelled when they engage in plagiarism, it's a problem.
But they already did the analysis, Anna. So now we're gonna do a double analysis on some jackass substacker who's obviously doing it for political reasons. And guess what? By the time that they reevaluate their second set of nonsense charges, she'll already be fired. And Bill Ackman will go, yes, I won again. Send in the bull BS reporters to find the real problems in her career.
They did an analysis of the first round of plagiarism allegations that came out in October.
And
but a new round of allegations came out.
A new round.
Okay.
Look at that.
Right.
What a surprising twist. A new round of allegations. Let's see if we can find more inadequate citations. I don't care.
Just finish. Okay, then you don't care.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if you
about that.
No.
Be honest about the fact that you don't care.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
That's fine.
If you found out, no, I don't care. Let me explain.
Okay.
If you found out that she committed a robbery in 1997, went into somebody's house, broke the door down, and stole their radio, I still wouldn't care, because you're trying to eliminate her because she said something you don't like. Don't go back into the past, find the tiniest little transgressions, and then we're gonna have a debate over this poor woman's life and over her career. No, I'm not going to engage with bad faith actors who have shown 1,000 times over that they're full of crap and they're looking to destroy people's lives. So no, let me be very clear. I have no interest in a debate about plagiarism from 20, 30 years ago. So-called. When the first round of plagiarism came up with no plagiarism, none. They were lying, and they're always lying. Oh, should we look into whether she jaywalked? I bet she did. Let's have a debate whether she jaywalked or not. I bet she crossed several streets without getting proper permission. She might have even once had a party past 10 p.m., might have violated a noise ordinance. Let's engage in, is she guilty of the noise ordinance? I might be guilty of a noise ordinance now. No, hatchet jobs, no interest. You're right, Anna. Even if they found it, they're like, this one doesn't have any citation at all.
All right,
Okay.
I'm done. We're wrapping this story up. We're taking a break. We'll come back and hopefully we'll calm down a little bit so we can actually do our jobs appropriately.
Well, ultimately, I think Anna is correct in the argument just based on what we've watched here. I don't want to be biased against Cenk just because he's acting like a clown, but I do think he makes a good point. If they truly went through Claudine Gay's history with a fine-tooth comb and all they could come up with was some questionable plagiarism claims, she's led a pretty good life. I don't think I'm any kind of monster or anything, but I really wouldn't want my life scrutinized that much. Would any of you? But again, it's just disrespectful and rude to not let Anna finish the story. And her point was, let me finish because it provides all of the information and context of the story. And what's funny is she even agrees with Cenk that it's a hatchet job. The only difference in their arguments is that Anna believes that regardless of the reason that the plagiarism charges came out, no matter how small, as the president of what some consider to be the top higher education institution in the country, these actions should be investigated. And I think that's a fair point. Like Anna said, I'm sure plagiarism when it comes to students at the university is taken very seriously. So allegations against the faculty or the president need to be treated with the same level of seriousness. Last thing before we get back to the video. While the yelling and the tension and the pissiness between the two of them is obviously funny, it's subtle, but I think the funniest part, go back if you need to in the video, is when they just have this awful, awkward silence. It made me uncomfortable just watching it. Can you imagine the tension that was going on in the studio at the time? Let's get back to the video.
Appropriately.
The job appropriately is this story has zero validity.
Right.
And do not fire that poor woman because some donor who's rich says, no, I'm gonna run Harvard. No one's allowed to disagree with my political opinions. Okay, if that's what Harvard is, which apparently that's what Penn is, I'm humiliated that I went to Penn. They fired her over that? They fired her over that because the donors didn't want her to be honest and tell what the actual policy of the school was on a hypothetical chance that didn't even happen. And those same donors, by the way, very, very likely donating to the politicians who voted for genocide of the Palestinian people because their lives don't matter. But we're discussing citations as 18,000 people have been butchered in Gaza. That's a weapon of mass distraction.
All right, it's more than citations. I'm sorry that I couldn't give you guys the information, but please read.
But go to Substack. I'm sure they have a lot of it.
Read the Harvard Crimson, please, so you'll understand where the real allegations lie.
You just know that Cenk is very proud of that term he just said, weapons of mass distraction. In his head, you know he was like, I gotta write that down. That's a good one. I can use that in the future. Anyway, we want to hear from you. What do you think? It's my belief that based on what we watched, I agree with Anna because she's coming from a place of logic and all she's asking to do is to be able to get out the facts like a normal news person would, and then they can have a discussion after the story's read. And while I goof on Cenk all the time and he does some silly things and has some dumb takes, ultimately he's not a dumb guy, but I'd say a character flaw of his, and we all have them, but his is pronounced, is that he is so emotional. So in some cases, his emotion doesn't allow him to hear the full story, and he makes up his mind on what he's going to rant about before he gets all the details. So that's why I side with Anna on this, but I could understand people arguing for either one of them. Anyway, like I said, let us know in the comments. As always, we really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.